What if I told you that you can be SHRM Senior Certified Professional, fully financed? But before I tell you how, let me share with you what is SHRM SCP. The SHRM certificate is well known and highly respected within the human resources industry, recognized globally by employers and HR professionals as a mark of expertise and leadership. By enrolling, you will gain a deep understanding of the SHRM body of applied skills and knowledge. Learn to demonstrate advanced strategic knowledge and practical experience. Master exam techniques with practice questions, mock tests, and structured study plans. And this is the most interesting part. It is financed by Yayasan Peneraju. And if you manage to pass the exam, your financing can be covered up to 100%. If you're a mid to senior level HR professional looking to strengthen your credibility and accelerate your growth, this program is for you. Don't wait. This is your chance to elevate your expertise and be recognized as a true HR leader. So now you're ready to become a certified HR professional, fully financed by Yayasan Peneraju. But before you take that flight, make sure your documents are ready to go. Because here's the thing, your journey doesn't begin in the classroom. It starts with a checklist. Think of this as your boarding pass into the SHRM world. If your documents are clear, complete, and correct, you're cleared for takeoff. If you miss a few items, and you might face some delays. Let's start with what you'll definitely need. Your NRIC, birth certificate, latest 3-month bank statement, SPM/IGCSE slip for post-SPM applicants, or your diploma/degree transcripts. Most documents need to be officially certified, also known as CTC. And no, you can't just sign it yourself. Only certain officers can do this. Next! Next stop, the Peneraju portal. Head to peneraju.org and create your account using your personal email, not your work or student one. When filling in your details, make sure your full name and IC exactly match your NRIC, no short forms, no nicknames. Once you've registered, verify your email within 24 hours. Yes, even if it lands in your spam folder. Then upload all your documents in PDF or clear image format. No dark, no crop, no blurry photos, please. Because once you get through this step, the real flight begins. Your SHRM journey starts here, and trust us, it is worth every document.
Most conflicts at the workplace do not start with rebellion. It starts with confusion.
Approximately 280 Bangladeshi migrant workers in Malaysia are claiming over $694,000 in unpaid wages.
Between January and October, Malaysian authorities issued 4 to 5 million ringgit in fines for labour offences, with 1,654 investigations opened involving forced labour.
But all of it is avoidable when you understand the rules and there is clarity. In this masterclass, I'll share with you how to understand Malaysia's Employment Act and its Sabah and Sarawak counterparts, manage disciplinary issues legally and ethically, eliminate labour disputes before they escalate. We will dissect real case studies from wrongful dismissal to wage disputes, from disciplinary hearings to forced resignations. Sometimes people tell me this kind of class is useless. You can Google it or ask around. But ask yourself this, do you want to be firefighting when the damage is already done? Or do you want to live with peace of mind solving issues before they ever reach your desk? Because no matter what your life looks like now, it can be better.
Hi, I'm Arul and this is my masterclass.
My name is Hazwa. Saya from Jet Corporate Services, based in KL Central Office. So ini consider I punya first time lah join for this Malaysia HR Forum training, Masterclass Employment Act recap session. So banyak benda yang saya belajar lah. Mr. Arul is a very great presenter, to be honest. Banyak yang dia dah share throughout the entire session about the HR practices, which is related to Employment Act, and as an employee, banyak benda yang kita terlepas pandangan, especially on the process wise. So a lot of operational requirements needed to be improvised for all of the companies itself. Mr. Arul also did share some of the secrets thingy, which is quite profitable to be applied in our organisation as well, which is kita macam tak notice benda ni sebelum ni kan.
Welcome to Training Marketplace, Malaysia HR Forum.
Your new go-to destination for professional development, upskilling, and corporate training.
At Malaysia HR Forum, we understand that finding the right training that's relevant and trusted can be time-consuming, but we are here for you.
That's why we created the Training Marketplace Malaysia HR Forum, an all-in-one platform where individuals and organizations can easily browse, book, and manage training programs in just a few clicks.
Book online or physical session anytime from anywhere. Anywhere. Literally anywhere.
Most conflicts at the workplace do not start with rebellion. It starts with confusion.
Approximately 280 Bangladeshi migrant workers in Malaysia are claiming over $694,000 in unpaid wages.
Between January and October, Malaysian authorities issued 4 to 5 million ringgit in fines for labour offences, with 1,654 investigations opened involving forced labour.
But all of it is avoidable
When you understand the rules and there is clarity.
In this masterclass, I'll share with you how to understand Malaysia's Employment Act and its Sabah and Sarawak counterparts, manage disciplinary issues legally and ethically, eliminate labor disputes before they escalate. We will dissect real case studies from wrongful dismissal to wage disputes, from disciplinary hearings to forced resignations. Sometimes people tell me this kind of class is useless. You can Google it or ask around. But ask yourself this: do you want to be firefighting when the damage is already done? Or do you want to live with peace of mind solving issues before they ever reach your desk? Because no matter what your life looks like now, it can be better.
Hi, I'm Arul and this is my masterclass. Good afternoon. Before I start, can I ask, are you all able to hear me and see me? If you're able to hear me and see me, just say yes. Anyone? If you're able to hear me and see me, just give me a yes. Okay, good. Now, Good afternoon to all of you all. And today's webinar, we're going to touch on the masterclass recap. Before I begin, my name is Arul, and I'm attached to Malaysia HR Forum. If you're watching us today, you're already a member. You have already joined our group. So thank you and welcome to the Malaysia HR Forum. And this is one of our activities that we do. We, apart from seminars and trainings, we do webinars as what you see today. Now, this webinar, it's targeted to those participants that have attended the masterclass, and also those of you all, if you have not attended the masterclass and you're planning to attend, but not sure what is it all about. So today I'll be covering almost about 12. I'll be touching on 12 topics very briefly because we only have about 2 hours. I'll try to finish my slides within an hour and a half, and I'll leave half an hour for Q&A. Let me begin. Now, before I start, I would like to just share with you, just myself. My name is Arul, and I'm attached to Malaysia HR Forum. I was once upon a time, like you, working with organizations. I've been in manufacturing. My longest career is manufacturing, manufacturing HR operations. And today, I'm attached to Malaysia HR Forum, and I provide advisory. We do consulting, we do training, we do capacity building. So today's session is part of our capacity building series, helping professionals like you to enhance your knowledge, sharing some of the best practices, some strategies, some tips, and so on. Now, before I begin, I would like to encourage all of you all. I'm sure you're already a member, otherwise you'll not be watching us live today. But I would encourage all of you all to get your subordinates. If you're a team leader, if you're a section head, or if you're a HR manager with team under you, or if you're a head of HR or a business owner, get your team members to join, because in this group, in this forum, what we do, we discuss tons of topics. We discuss on latest issue, whether it's a stamping issue, issues on Employment Act, topics on domestic inquiry, probation, medical, IR, recruitment strategies, recruitment challenges, com and ban, anything to do with human resources, you are in the right platform. And my advice to all of you all is, if you have a young employee, you've just hired a fresh graduate to be a HR team member, my advice to you is not to send them for training just yet. Because when they go for a formal training, a 2-day training, the trainer is going to bombard them with so much of case laws and this citation, that citation, etc. Because they have not got the basics yet, they are going to struggle in the class. And learning retention after classroom learning, it's small, probably 10%. So get them to build their foundation first, then send them for training. I would encourage you, because every now and then we'll be sharing sample documentation, sample policies, some write-up, some cases, some review of what has happened in industrial court. There's a case and we share. It is good to ask them every now and then, every week, maybe every Monday, ask your staff, hey, what happened in, is there anything new in HR Forum last week? Can you share with me? Is there a policy shared? Can you download a policy, compare against what we have, and do a gap analysis? If there's something we can improve, come to me with a draft, and let's go and get the management approval. So that's how you train them, right? This part of on-the-job training. Training is not just about going for classroom training. For you, if you're already experienced and you want to learn new strategies, yes, please go. But for the new youngsters, the one who has just joined, they've not even got the basics yet. Get them to, be active in the forum, read every single post. This scenario, that scenario, how do I manage this? If an employee comes to work earlier than, regular hours, is it overtime? Or overtime is after work hours? How do we look at shift that cross into midnight? Do we follow clock in, clock out? How do I do domestic inquiry? Do I need to do domestic inquiry for all cases? How do I manage probationers? Can I terminate a probationer earlier? What does industrial court says? What is the kind of payments that you have to make if you wrongfully terminate an employee? So these are the items these are the topics that we discuss, and much, much more. In the forum, you will also have access to tons of documentations. There are over 45 policies, sample documentation, sample letters, forms. If you don't have a performance review form, there is a simple Excel template available for you to download and for you to use it. Sample memos. For example, if you're listening in from Sabah, there's going to be an election coming soon. What should you do? How much, how long time off should you give? What does the Election Offences Act says about, giving time off? How should you draft your policies? What if the government announces a public holiday, for Sabah election? So how do you draft your memo? So those sample memos are available in the forum. So please make the best use of it. Get your team members to join the forum and learn and ask them what was the discussion last week and so on. Now, before I go into the sharing today, I would like to reiterate this once more, and I always remind every HR practitioners, if you listen to my webinars, seminars, or you attend trainings that I do, I keep sharing this one slide, as a reminder to tell us that compliance is cheaper than non-compliance. In other words, if you think compliance is expensive, then try non-compliance. Now, let me give you an example. During COVID, quite a number of companies, there was allegations of forced labor. And when there's allegation of forced labor, countries like US will put a stop, will sanction them, no more products of your country, of your company into the United States, for example. And in order to rectify these issues, they will have to work out, for example, this is the case of foreign workers, they have to work out their hostels, their buses, canteens, practices, grievance process. All this has got to be rectified. Now, the cost of compliance, if you do it every year, we do preventive maintenance on machineries, but do we do preventive maintenance on our HR practices, right? If you do this every year, you will never get into issues. Just like our car. If you do periodic maintenance, your car will last long. But if you decide not to do, your car may go through issues, sooner than later. Or, at 9 o'clock morning, 9:30 in the morning, or it doesn't matter what time of the day, we go to we want to get something from the nearby shop. We park our car, thinking that the Majlis guy will not come and summon. We make a quick dash, and when we come back to the car, we realize there's a summon. What's the cost of summon? 20, 30, 40 ringgit, depending on which town council, that you are living in. And, if you were compliant, your cost is 60 cents. But because we choose not to be compliant, now we end up paying 20, 30, 40, whatever amount of fine that is being assessed by the town council. So remember this, compliance is cheaper than non-compliance. There are companies that have gone bust. That means you don't see them anymore. Why? Because they chose not to be compliant. So is compliance very expensive? No, it is not expensive. It is much more expensive when we try not to comply. For example, if you are giving meal allowance to your employees, let's say we're running manufacturing, F&B, service sector, retail, you give meal allowance, or you give attendance allowance, you give COLA, right? Hardship allowance. Now, all these allowances has got to be part of your ORP when you calculate overtime, right? Or when you pay out annual leave, you got to include all these allowances, right? When you give out your, when you do your ORP calculation, for example, when you do your OT. What about performance bonus? Do you need to include part of ORP? High chances, yes. Contractual bonus, no. Performance bonuses, chances are yes, right? So you got to ensure that all these are being adhered to, because if you do not do so, if the authorities got to know, you will be asked to recalculate. First, they'll probably impose a fine on you because it's an offense. Recalculate, pay the employees back. And when you do this, right, of course, the employees are going to be happy. I get more money. But they will start to distrust you. That means all this while, my company has been cheating me. So these are kind of thoughts they'll have. So it is not worth it. Now, why do companies choose not to comply? Because they want to save costs or everything is expensive. For example, today, stamping. You got to stamp employment contracts, right? Today, the value, if the employment contract is worth more than if the salary paid is more than 300, you got to stamp it. Of course, next year, the government is going to increase the threshold. But what we hear, the kind of stories we hear, okay, you know what? Let's not stamp. Let's ask the worker to stamp. Now, what does the law say? Company must stamp. Whoever originates the contract must stamp. Company must stamp, right? And for 10 ringgit, do we want to skirt around the law for 10 ringgit? Now, do you know that companies waste tens of thousands of ringgit, hundreds of thousands of ringgit on other things? We waste money on other things, but we are so focused on small savings. So I'm going to share with you a couple of ways, or I'm going to share with you where you're wasting money and what can you do to save this money. And I can tell you the savings that I'm going to save you, and this is what we discussed in class, is much more than switching off lights during lunch, trying to save, stamping costs and whatnot, right? We save penny. We are trying to save penny, but we are wasting, tons of money into the drain. One example, right? Now, this is not about compliance. For example, this is not about compliance. I'm just giving you an example. I'm sure some companies out there, they do not give annual leave during probation. Now, when companies do that, they think that they've won the Great World War. Oh, I'm not giving my employees annual leave during probation. Now, a company that does that, to me, they are the biggest loser. Why do I say that? Of course, yes, I know. Employment Act says that you can choose, right? You can choose not to give annual leave. Because why? Annual leave, an employee shall, a company shall grant annual leave after completing 12 months. When the employee completes 12 months, then you can give them annual leave, right? But some companies, they give them after probation. Some give them from day one. I would encourage companies to give from day one. Why do I say that? Because when you don't give annual leave, number one, you are not an attractive employer. I'm sure all of you are listening today. There's 200 plus of you all here. If you were to join a new company today and the company tells you, you know what, we don't give you annual leave during probation, would you want to take up the job? I'm sure you'll say no, because you need annual leave for emergency. But so you look, when you don't provide annual leave during during probation, you become not so an attractive employer, right? You may attract those desperados, those people who are desperate for a job, they may come. But those who are, so-called passive employee, those who are high performers, they may not come to you, right? That's number one. Number two, when you don't give annual leave during probation, employees will start to abuse MC. Now, let's say if we take the case of operator, minimum salary 1,007. The daily salary, if you take 1,007 divided by 30 days, roughly they get about 60 ringgit. Now, the cost of MC, when they go to the clinic will also charge them about 60, 70, 80 ringgit. Now, who pays for it? Some of you are paying for it. So if you give annual leave, the cost to company, 60 ringgit. That's it, done. But when we choose not to give annual leave, thinking that we have got the great big deal out of the employee, you got to pay the sick leave plus the cost of MC. You're paying two costs as compared to one. Now, just imagine if your company, if on an annual basis, you recruit 50, 80 people, 1 month, 1 MC. In the first 3 months, 3 months, 3 MC. How much of money are you wasting? And after 3, 4, 5 months, if they decide to go, you got to pay them back. You got to pay them for the prorated annual leave that you have not given them. So again, you pay another money. So to me, not giving annual leave. And what should be the minimum annual leave? Yes, Employment Act says 8 days. But is 8 days sufficient today? All of you are listening in today. Are you okay if your employer gives you 8 days? Now remember, Employment Act 1955. We are still stuck in the old days. We are in year 2025 today. Do you think the youngsters that you recruit, all these fresh school leavers, we talk about Gen Z. The problem with us today as HR, we tend to look at generational needs. Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen Z, baby boom, millennium, etc. We got to take care of them. We got to understand them. We got to, they want this and that. But operator, we don't care. So we are being hypocrite. A millennium generation who becomes an operator, we give them 8 days. But a millennium generation who becomes an executive, we must give 14, 18, these guys. So why do we have different standards? To me, if you ask me, what would be a better strategy? A better strategy is to give minimum 12 days per year. Why? 1 day per month is easy to calculate. Because generally, people would want to take leave. So if there's annual leave, I'll use my annual leave. I don't need to take MC. Because people do abuse MC. One of the biggest challenge that you guys are having today is people abusing MC. And we keep crying about it. My guys are taking MC. We cannot control this, that. But we're not doing anything about it. Despite your FBI level control mechanism, despite, you controlling it, airtight, this, etc., people still take. So what's the big deal then? So my advice, right, this is what I call a strategy. My advice is, if you want to make yourself as an attractive employer, you want to reduce people misusing MC, you want to reduce costs, you give 12 days of annual leave, 1 day per month for the blue collar, right? To me, what will be a reasonable minimum annual leave? I would say 12 days, not 8 anymore, right? I know the law provides 8. Law says minimum 8, but for executives, you give 14, 16. Why do we give a blue collar 8, right? Now, when you give 8, we are being foolish. Why? Because they will start to take MC to go on annual leave. You're paying double the cost. So that's, I leave that to you, right? So this is an example of where we could save money. So save money where we can save. Do not try to save money by beating around the law, by not being compliant, right? Some of you all, I'm sure your bosses will pressure you, reduce costs, reduce costs, reduce costs. And why not we don't pay this? Why not we don't pay that? Can we not include this into ORP? Can we exclude COLA from ORP? No, you can't. Can we exclude transport allowance from ORP? You can't. The law says you can't. But because you want to save costs, the cost is going up and higher and higher. So to me, follow the law, be compliant. Find other ways to save costs. I've just given you one method. Now, for companies, if you've got hundreds of employees joining you every year at a blue-collar level, at a non-executive level, you are spending unnecessary money paying medical costs. Why? Because we choose to give minimum annual leave. And we are not giving them annual leave from day one. We are giving them after probation or after 1 year. So if you ask me, who's the biggest fool in town? We as HR. Because we design a strategy that kills us in the long run. So compliance is cheaper than non-compliance. Do not try to save costs, right? Do not try to save costs by risking compliance. You want to save costs? Look at other methods. I will share with you a few more methods where we can save tons of money, hundreds of thousands of ringgit. Now, before I go in, my question to all of you all here listening in, and this is what we discussed in the masterclass. What are your plans for 2026? What are your plans? There are 3 scopes that every HR practitioner, every HR department must do. The 3 scopes: compliance and governance. What are your focus for next year on compliance and governance? Have you updated your policies? Have you published your calendar? Remember this, if you're not giving, for public holiday, right? What does Employment Act says? Before the year commences, you are supposed to publish the 2026 calendar before 1st of January 2026. If you don't do it, 50,000 fine, maximum. Have you put up your posters on sexual harassment awareness required by Employment Act? If you have not done so, 50,000 fine. This same goes to Sabah and Sarawak. These all requirements Sabah, Sarawak as well. Have you done a refresher training on code of conduct, prevention of sexual harassment, grievance, right? If you don't do, right, of course, nobody's going to come after you. But if there's a non-compliance, the risk is also on the company. And many more. So what are your scope? What are you going to do when it comes to compliance and governance? The second scope is operational. What are you going to do on operational aspects? Are you going to make things lean, make things faster? Are you going to set up your PIP framework, for example? Are you going to strengthen your probation management? Are you going to simplify some of the processes you have? Right? Are you going to establish training plan for your line managers and whatnot? The third part, strategic. What are the strategic focus for 2026? Right? So these are the things that you got to, do. Not just switching off light when you go out for lunch, stamping contracts, issuing letters, paying so much attention on minor stuff. Or put the minor stuff aside, simplify it if the process is not required. For example, why do you want employees to acknowledge confirmation? This is another time waster. We waste time on many, many things. All of you all go to work 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. You work until 5 or 6. And then, you work so hard. Sometimes you work extra hours. Doing what? Is your company's revenue growing because of HR's input? I know you guys are working hard, yes. But what do? We are doing paperwork, clerical work, administrative work. When someone leaves the company, we interview them, exit interview. Why are you leaving? Better offer. It's too late. How many of y'all have done a review of your employee's career progression? Every operator, every engineer, every sales guy, every executive. Have you opened up their files? When did they join the company? How long have they been in the same job grade? Ask the manager, John, your staff here, why is he in the same job grade for 5 years? What's your plan for him? Is there any development measures we need to, set up for him? Now, this is what HR should be doing, not getting yourself stuck with paperwork. Now, remember this, it is easy to work hard. So we are working very hard. Okay, we got this issue, let's do this. Our employees are unhappy, let's do engagement day, let's do this. That's called working hard. But we got to work smart. Working smart means, how can I do limited activities but get maximum result? For example, I shared this example just now. Why do we ask employee to acknowledge confirmation letter? We issue a letter, get it signed, give it to the manager, or you give it to employee, and then you want them to sign and give it back to you. Sometimes they forget, you forget, and one day when it comes to audit, your auditor will remind you, all this documentation not complete. But why do we need confirmation? In the employment contract, it already states during probation, notice period 1 month. After confirmation, notice period 2 months. So why do you want to acknowledge? Why not we just say, dear John, congratulations, you are confirmed, your position remains, salary remains, notice period shall be as per what is stated in the contract. Done. Give him the letter. 1 letter P file, 1 letter, give him, done. Why do you want acknowledgement? Now, these are areas that has, no value at all. But we are doing it. Why we're doing it? Because it has been done in the past. We are not challenging status quo. So find ways how to remove unnecessary processes, make things lean and fast, so that you can focus on strategic. Now, please do not do this. If you do not reduce your compliance and governance, operational matters, and you want to start doing strategic, don't waste your time, because down the road, you'll find that I'm already so busy, I have no time. So your compliance and governance, operational, whatever processes that you can make things lean, make things fast, cut short the process, so long as it does not affect compliance, does not affect governance, do it, right? So these are some ideas of what you could do for 2026. So I call this as Road to HR Excellence. And, these are all some new happenings that has happened. Section 25, wages has got to be paid through financial institution. And in the recent months, our Ministry of HR has approved, 6 new payment instrumentation for payment of salary. Yes, salary goes go to a bank, but these are for foreign workers. So if you have a foreign worker, you can also pay them through any of these 6, e-wallets, right? Bio, Finexes, Merchant Trade, Mobile One, Touch and Go, Big Pay, right? For foreign workers, because we know foreign workers, when the contract expire, the banks will freeze their account. Now, then it creates complexity. So another way to minimize that is pay them through e-wallet, for example. So these are some changes that has happened. And another thing that many of us do not know, maybe you know, but you're not doing it. When should you pay salary, the final salary, when you terminate an employee, right? Section 20, Section 21 provides it. If the contract, the fixed term contract, let's say somebody's on a fixed term contract, 1-year contract. Today, what date is today? Today is 22nd. Today is 24th. Let's say now a contract expired today, 24th. When should you pay the salary? Section 20 says you got to pay them today, not on 7th of next month, not end of the month. So you see, some of you all may think that, like this, it has been there for so long. But we choose not to read Employment Act. We don't participate in discussion. Maybe some of you are on Facebook, you never pay attention. I've shared this on Facebook numerous times. What if the company terminates the contract? What does Section 21 says? You got to pay them on the day the contract terminates. If not, the employee can go to file a case in labor saying that my contract has expired or terminated, but the company has not paid me yet. I don't think you want to spook Labor Department. I don't think you want them to call you, right? Section 20, Section 21 says that you got to pay on the day. Now, this is the same with Sabah, right, and Sarawak. right? Same. If the contract is terminated today, you pay today. Now, so these slides will be shared with all of you all in Facebook. So please download it, please read it, and see whether you are compliant. Now, remember this. When you are not compliant, what does EA says? What does SLO says? A fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit. Worth it? Or is better to be compliant? And minimum wages, it went live on 1st February 2025. I know some rumors are going around that new minimum wage is coming soon. Well, that we leave it to the government. But as of today, the minimum wage for now is 1,007. If you are paying them on a daily basis, if the employee is working 6 days, you pay them 65.38. If it's 5 days, you pay them 74.46 per day. If they are on 4-day work week, you pay them 98. Now, there is some, or those on hourly, you pay them 8.72 per hour. Now, all of you all are monthly, so it's easy. Every month you pay 1,007, you meet the minimum. But those people who are working 6 days, what happens? Do these people working on daily basis, you're paying them on daily, do they enjoy annual leave? Answer is yes. So for example, I work Monday to Saturday, 6 days, and you're paying me daily, right? So if I come to work today, you pay me today. But tomorrow, I want to apply annual leave, right? Remember, all employees, whether they are paid on monthly, daily, hourly, or you are paid them piece rated, you're paying them based on task, commission, etc. Doesn't matter the mechanism. All benefits provided for in Employment Act applies to them. So remember this, the method of calculation is not the same, but all benefits, they are eligible for it. So even those people working on daily, paid, right, they're paying them daily, they are also entitled for public holiday. So you cannot say, oh, you didn't come to work, I don't pay you. No. What does Employment Act says? If you read Employment clearly, Employment Act did not say public holiday and MC only for monthly salary. They did not say that. Everybody covered under Employment Act, which all of us, we are entitled for annual leave, sick leave, public holiday. So those people on daily rated, for example, if Thursday I'm scheduled to work, I'm daily rated, but I happen to be on MC, you still got to pay me the daily rate, right? So please get this process checked, whether you're compliant or not. And one of the biggest changes to Employment Act is first schedule. So some of you all may not know this. Now, if I were to ask you, who is eligible for overtime? Many of you all instantly you said below 4,000. Now, that is not an accurate answer, right? That is not an accurate answer. The accurate answer is employees earning above 4,000 who are not manual labor, who do not supervise manual labors, or do not operate, mechanically propelled vehicle, etc. They are not eligible. So let me explain to you again. Now, please listen closely to this because this is very important. So those employees who are manual labor, your operator, your technician, your cleaner, those people running the F&B counters, these people, they are manual labor. That's the definition of manual labor. So when you get these slides, you can see on the top, bottom right, definition of manual labor. You can see Donovan and Ho's website. They've described who's manual labor, and there's another website who's manual labor. Now, anybody who's doing manual labor, they are supervising a manual labor. That means your supervisors, or those people running machineries, for example. This group of people, it does not matter what they earn. If they're earning 5,000, 8,000, if you have a lorry driver, a bus driver earning 10,000, he is entitled for overtime, right? So the first group on the left, it does not matter what salary they earn. Now, the second group are other people. Who are the others? Those who are not manual labor, not running machineries, not supervising, other manual labor. They are others. Who are others? HR manager, finance exec, HR clerk, sales clerk, your purchasing, exec, R&D exec, engineers, right? Planners, they are not manual labor. So they come under the category of other employees. So other employees, if they're earning up to 4, they are entitled to overtime. If they're earning more than 4, they are not entitled to overtime. So I always refer this to the green box and red box. So those of you all, or those employees who are in the green box, you got to pay them overtime pay. If you ask them to come on the rest day, you got to pay them rest day pay. If they come to public holiday, you got to pay them for that, the times 2, times 3. If you terminate them, they are entitled to termination benefit. But those people in the red box, all of you all are HR and you're earning above 4,000, that means your salary is 4,001, you are in the red box because you are the category of other employees. So those of you all in the red box, if I terminate you, I can choose not to pay termination benefits. If I say, hey, can you come and work on public holiday? I can give you a replacement leave. Or maybe, you know what, can I pay you 100 ringgit? You come and work on a public holiday. The red box you can discuss because it is not mandatory to pay. But those people in the green box, you must pay if they come for public holiday. Now, there's always this idea out there. Oh, you know what, my operator, my technician, if I ask them to work on public holiday, I give them annual leave, replacement leave. Answer is no. Those employees in the green box, you must pay them. Because Employment Act did not say you can choose to pay them or give replacement leave. No, you got to pay them. You want to give replacement leave, that can be extra, but you got to pay them. So if you are practicing this today, again, you're non-compliant. If I'm Labour Department, I come and audit you, 50,000 maximum fine, or fine not exceeding 50,000. So remember this: if anybody in the green box works during public holiday, if they work during rest day, if they work during if they work during rest day, public holiday, etc., you got to pay them. No replacement leave. You want to give extra replacement leave? No problem. But those people in the red box, you can give them replacement leave. You can choose not to give replacement leave. You can just tell them, you know what, can you come and work during public holiday? I give you a McDonald's voucher. If they say okay, no problem. But you got to, for the green box, no negotiation. Even though the employee said, tak apalah, you bayar saya lah, tak apalah, you give me replacement leave lah. I tak nak gaji, I nak replace. Do not fall into that trap. Because why? You are already non-compliant. Employee may ask, just like some employee says that, I'm on fixed term contract. Don't pay me, I don't want EPF. Can you pay me the EPF money? No, the law says EPF must be paid. So do not skirt around with the law, right? So this is first schedule. So now, I just want to do a quick, test, right? And just answer me so that I know whether you are, how to say it, whether you understand what I'm saying. Now, I'm just going to give you a scenario and you tell me whether yes or no. Okay, you tell me whether it's green box or red box. Okay, got it? Now, HR manager earning 2,900 ringgit. HR manager, green box or red box? HR manager earning 2,900 ringgit. Anyone? HR manager earning 2,900 ringgit. Green box or red box? You can just type in the comment box. I just want to see whether you are able to capture what I've just said. HR manager earning 2,900, are they in the green box or red box? Good. Deshna, you're correct. So if the HR manager is in green box, if he or she works during public holiday, you got to pay them. A lorry driver earning 12,000 ringgit, are they entitled to OT or not? Lorry driver earning 12,000, yes or no for overtime pay? Yes or no? A lorry driver earning 12,000 ringgit basic salary per month, if they work on a public holiday, are they entitled for public holiday pay? If they work overtime, are they entitled for overtime pay? No. Lorry driver earning 12,000, they are manual labor, they are entitled for public holiday pay. So renal care, Shali, you're right. Shia, you're right. So remember this, Employment Act do not follow their business title. Employment Act follows their, their scope of work. So lorry driver, their manual labor will be all green. Doesn't matter whether they're earning below 4 or above 4. But for other employees, let's say now, I have got an operation director earning 3,900. He will be in the green box. If he works OT, he's got to be paid. If he comes on public holiday, you got to pay him public holiday. So do not look at titles. Look at the scope. What are they doing? Are they manual labor? Are they supervising manual labors? Are they running machinery, mechanically propelled vehicle? If they are doing any of this, it does not matter what salary, you got to pay all the items in green. If they are in the other category and they're earning above 4, that means they fall in the red box. That one you can choose, you can discuss with them. Boleh bincang. Right? This is Employment Act. Same goes to Sarawak and Sabah. Right? Almost the same. In fact, it's the same, except that in Sarawak, they've got another item. So please read, please familiarize yourself with the first schedule. Right? If you're Peninsula, Peninsula's first schedule. If you're in Sabah, Sabah's first schedule. If you're in Sarawak, Sarawak's first schedule. Right? All these are covered in the slides. Okay. Now, this is just a quick thing. So how do we determine the 4,000 ringgit? Remember, up to 4, above 4, how do we determine? So when you go back to the first schedule, whether it's Employment Act, whether it's Sarawak Sabah Labour Ordinance, it says that in order to determine the 4,000, you got to look, the definition of wages in first schedule applies, but you don't include commission, subsistence allowance, and overtime. So in other words, right, whatever is defined as wages in section 2, which is the front part of EA, for example, everything applies except you don't include commission, subsistence allowance, and overtime. So when we combine it, this is what you get. So in order to determine whether their wages is, exactly 4K or above 4K, what do? You only take into account basic wages and all other payments that you pay in cash, meal allowance, attendance allowance, right? Transport allowance, etc. But you don't include, if you provide a house, you don't include the value of the house. Whatever you pay for EPF, not included. If you provide them traveling allowance, right? Traveling transport is not the same. So traveling allowance not included. Or if you're going to give them some money because of certain expenses they've incurred to perform their job, that is not an income, right? Gratuity, annual bonus, commission, no. Subsistence allowance, no. Overtime, no. So only the first part. So a small exercise. 4 examples, illustration 1, 2, 3, 4. The first illustration, he earns 4,000, no allowance, no commission, no overtime. So total wages 4,000. He is entitled to OT. Because why? It says up to 4,000 ringgit. Illustration number 2, basic 2,500, allowance 1,002, overtime we don't include, right? Therefore, the total wages is 3,700. He is entitled to overtime. What about illustration 3? 3,008, allowance you got to include, but we don't include commission. So total 3,950, entitled for overtime. Same goes to Sabah Sarawak as well. Illustration 4, basic salary 3,008, allowances 300, no OT, no commission, total 4,100. This person do not, or he or she is not entitled for overtime. But this is only for the other employees, because those who are manual labor, you don't need to calculate. Manual labor, irrespective of their salary, they got to be paid overtime. If they work on public holiday, you got to pay them the public holiday rate. If you terminate them, you got to pay them retrenchment benefits, right? But for those who are in the other categories, you got to calculate first whether they are earning above 4 or below or up to 4. If they're earning above 4, you don't need to pay overtime. You can talk to them. Maybe give them some, vouchers or replacement leave, time off. That's okay. For the red box, you can discuss with them. But for the green box, you got to provide what EA or SLO, Sabah or Sarawak says. You cannot say, tak apalah, I kerja esok, you bagi replacement leave. Cannot. Right? You can't do that. You got to pay them. Or you bought OT hari ni kan, esok you masuk kerja lambat lah. You cannot do that. You got to pay them. Today your employees could be nice to you. Okay lah boss, tak apalah, boleh lah, kita kawan kan, boleh. Tomorrow when things become sour, sometimes relationship, gets broken, he or she will go to labor and say that my company never paid me for public holiday for the last 1 year. And what are you going to say? Oh no, we are the bincang. Remember this, Employment Act is more supreme than whatever agreement that you all have. So, to me, do we want to skirt around with the law? Comply or don't comply? Compliance is cheaper or compliance is more expensive? You decide. Now, a bit on public holiday, right? I just want to cover two things on public holiday. So, Malaysia is 11 minimum, Sarawak is 18, Sabah is 15. So, if you're going to say, wow, Sarawak a lot, come, let's go work in Sarawak. Unfortunately, for Peninsula, it's only 11. Now, when you work on public holiday for Peninsula Malaysia, and this goes to Sabah, Sarawak as well, apart from the mandatory, so Peninsula Malaysia, we got 5 mandatory. Sarawak has got 6, Sabah has got 5. For example, the National Day, Hari Malaysia, the King's birthday, the Sultan or the State Governor or the Yang di-Pertua, Workers' Day, Labor Day, or Malaysia Day, for example. So these are mandatory. Now, the law, whether it's Peninsula, Sabah, Sarawak, you can see the word "and". So what you must give, you must provide the 6 days plus any other day appointed or selected by the government. So for example, in Peninsula Malaysia, you're already giving 11 minimum, right? Yes. But if the federal government declares under Section 8, so it's no longer 11 for the year, it is 11 plus whatever declared under Section 8. Section 9 is up to you. If your company policy says, please observe, yeah, we observe all, you observe all. But if your company says we only observe minimum 11, minimum 12, or minimum 14, it is 11 or 12 or 14 or whatever days you practice, you observe, plus public holiday, plus Section 8. That's for Peninsula. For Sabah, Sarawak, if the state government announces any holiday, you have to comply. So for Sarawak, it's 18 plus whatever declared under, by the state government. Same goes to Sabah. Sabah would be 15 plus whatever declared by the government. For Peninsula, would be 11 plus whatever declared by the federal government. For Peninsula, again, if your company policy says you observe all, then whether the federal government, let's say Prime Minister Anwar announced, you got to observe. If your state, let's say Johor or Pahang or Penang announces holiday, you also got to observe. Because why? Your policy says all. And now, so these are quite clear. For Sabah and Sarawak, quite special because for them, for Peninsula, the other 6 days, you can choose whatever day. If you got a lot of employees who are Muslims, you can choose Hari Raya. If you got a lot of Chinese, you can choose Chinese New Year. Or you got a lot of Indians, you can choose Deepavali or Christmas, for example. But in Sarawak, you must, this additional public holiday shall be fixed, with regards to religion and customs. It is provided for in SLO. So Section 60D for Peninsula, if a federal government, that means Prime Minister Anwar announces a holiday, you must observe. You cannot say, this is all optional. No. If the state government, that is optional. But if your policy says you observe all, you have to observe all. So this for Peninsula, not for Sabah, Sarawak. Section 8 is mandatory. You must observe. Section 9, subject to your company policy. If your company policy says you observe all, you got to observe all. But if your company policy says we only observe, minimum, that means maybe 11, maybe 14, not all, then you can choose not to observe a holiday that is announced by the state government. So this is Section 8 and Section 9. Now, what you may not know, of course, public holiday falls on a rest day, automatically the next working day becomes a holiday. Or if there's 2 public holiday falls on the same day, you got to replace them. Now, this is the same for Peninsula, Sabah, Sarawak. Look at the bottom. In both EA, SLO Sabah, SLO Sarawak, it says what? The employer, read the bottom, the employer shall exhibit conspicuously before the commencement of each calendar year what are the remaining 6 holidays that you observe. If you're doing minimum, right? For example, your company only observe 11. So 5 is mandatory, is chosen by the government, chosen by the act. But what are the other 6? You got to publish your calendar. So if you don't do, you have committed an offense, maximum fine 50,000. Same goes to Sabah, same goes to Sarawak. Right? This for companies, if you only observe minimum. And the other thing that you may not know, or maybe you know but you don't do it, if the government declares a holiday, let's say a public holiday, Wesak, for example, Wesak falls on, let's say on a Thursday. Can you choose to move Wesak to another day? Maybe you say Thursday the one because Friday working day. I think let's move it to Friday. You can only move a public holiday. Now these are the non-mandatory ones. The 5 or 6 mandatory ones, for example, Hari Malaysia, Merdeka, King's birthday, the Sultan's birthday or the YDP's birthday, Labor Day, and Sarawak, they got one extra Sarawak Independence Day. Now this public holiday must be observed on the same day. You cannot move to any other day. If it's a rest day, then you observe the next day. Remember this, rest day, you cannot, rest day is rest day. So if King's birthday falls on rest day, Sunday is still a rest day. For example, if Sunday is a rest day, Monday becomes the replacement public holiday for King's birthday. You cannot replace the King's birthday to Tuesday. It must be on Monday. So that's number 1. Number 2, if 2 public holiday falls on the same day, for example, let's say on a rest day, today is Sunday rest day, King's birthday and Wesak. Sunday remains a rest day. The King's birthday must be celebrated on Monday. You got to replace it on Monday. Wesak, talk to employees. Either Tuesday is by default. But if you want to move it to any other day, you must get agreement, but with the employee. So your company cannot suka-suka, oh, we don't want to follow here, we change. No. What does Employment Act says? What does Sarawak and Sabah Labour Ordinance says? By agreement between the employee and employee. So company, you cannot suka-suka change, right? Why? Because the law says employees are entitled. So if the federal government already says Wesak is on Wednesday, Wesak is Wednesday by law. You say Wesak, we observe, right? But when you want to change, then you're already varying the conditions. You got to get employees to agree. Some of you all may not know this. Okay, now what you also may not know, what happens if an employee falls sick on a public holiday? The employer shall grant another day as a paid holiday. Is provided for, right? It does not mean, let's say today is public holiday, employee falls sick. You say, I'm not going to replace. No, the law says if employee falls sick on a public holiday, you got to replace the public holiday. Same goes to Sabah, same goes to Sarawak. Okay, so who are eligible to, for pay work done on a public holiday? So if let's say today is a public holiday, you ask your employees to work. Those people in the green box, as I said just now, they must be paid public holiday rates. 2 times ORP and then 3 times HRP. But those people in the red box, you can give replacement leave or you can work out some other arrangement. But the green box, you cannot give replacement leave. You must pay them. You want to give replacement leave as an extra benefit, that's up to you. But you got to pay them the public holiday rate 2 times and the 3 times. Okay, now I also want to just touch on how employment laws come into existence. Now, of course, Employment Act, Trade Union Act, Industrial Relations Act, all this act, ACTA, goes to Parliament. Parliament debate, they approve it, goes to layers, and then finally the minister says, okay, it come into, we're going to enforce it on a particular date. For example, this year, Sarawak and Sabah Labour Ordinance came into effect, right? It's in force now. Now, this is easy. The other way regulations come into effect is when a minister issues an order. For example, minimum wage order, termination layoff, employment regulations, or in Sarawak, they got these labor rules. Sabah got labor rules. Now, not everything you can find in Employment Act, right? Sometimes the boss don't trust you, right? Whenever you tell them, boss, cannot, boss will say, I don't trust you. Call the lawyer, call GTK, call this consultant, right? Sometimes they don't trust you. Because why? We never work on building that trust. We never give the company the confidence that we know our job. We always keep asking, anything we call labor, anything call here, call there, WhatsApp, Facebook, right? We have to build that knowledge. Some of you all may not know. if you are in Peninsula, Employment Regulation 1957 says what? Your pay slips, do you keep in soft copy or hard copy? I would encourage all of y'all, go and download employment regulations. It is, you can either download from Labour Department's website or you can download from Facebook group. Your pay slip has got to be in hard copy. If you want to keep pay slip in soft copy, you could apply for exemption. So if I would ask you all this, are you all compliant? Oh yes, we comply everything, but pay slip in hard copy, a soft copy. Are you compliant? You're not. So go and read the employment regulations. We just follow what others do, and we never ask ourselves, am I compliant? If you have got multiple branches, for example, your HQ is in Kuala Lumpur, but you got branches in, let's say, Bangi or Seremban, but all your employee files you keep in HQ. Again, you're not compliant, because the regulation says that all your files must be kept at the respective branches. If you're not doing it, you keep all in HQ, fine, maximum 50,000, or shall I say, a fine not exceeding 50,000. So are you compliant? You're not. If a female employee goes on maternity, we need to fill in the maternity register. You fill in and keep it. If you don't do it, another offense, penalty, or shall I say, a fine not exceeding 50,000. Now, where does all this come from? Employment Regulations 1957. In your employment contract, there are items, the regulation has spelled out what must be captured in your employment contract. So if certain items are not in employment contract, another offense. So we just copy, cut, paste, use ChatGPT, borrow contract here, okay, I just follow. But is your contract complete as per what regulation says? If you're not, get it updated. So you see, I've already covered areas that many of you all may not be compliant. Right? Same goes to employee come late to work, or can we deduct salary? Now, deduction is not the right word. The right label is pay for work done. So if you don't come to work, if you're supposed to work 8 hours a day, you arrive late half an hour, then I only pay you for 7.5. The other half an hour, I will not pay you because you didn't work. So it is called unearned wages. Okay, never mind. The definition is not so important, right? But if employee didn't come to work for 5 minutes, you cannot deduct half day. You cannot deduct 100 ringgit. You can deduct, or shall I say, you can choose not to pay the exact amount, the exact value of that 5 minutes. Not 100 ringgit, you decide a formula. Okay, you come late to work, we will not pay you 100 ringgit extra. We will take out 100 ringgit from your daily salary. No, you can't. It has got to be proportionate to the hours or the minutes they did not work. So if you just blindly apply a formula, you're wrong. So are you compliant? Right? And so the first bubble, which is Act of Parliament, regulations, all this you can read, highlight, show your boss here. But what about, reading case laws? Because when a court makes a ruling, right, when the industrial court or the high court or federal court, appeal court makes a ruling, that becomes binding on you. For example, can I hire somebody on a fixed term contract? 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. Can you do that? Many of you all enjoy, companies love fixed term contract. Why? Because I can control them. When I don't want them, I say, hey, your contract expired, you get lost. But what does Han Chiang School case tells us? If you hire somebody for a job that is permanent, but you provide a fixed term contract, the law says they are deemed to be permanent. Right? A fixed term contract is for a temporary job. 1 year, the job finish, disappear, then fixed term contract. But if the job is going to be there for the next many years to come, that should be a permanent contract. Right? Han Chiang School tells us. Domestic inquiry. When should we do domestic inquiry? How do we know the process of it? All this come from case laws. Retrenchment. When you retrench somebody, you got to pay them 10 days, 15 days, 20 days per year of service, depending on how long they work. Where can I find this? Or retrenchment, before you retrench, you must work on reducing your costs, reduce overtime, reduce this, that. Where do we learn all this? from retrenchment practices. Last in, first out. The court says that if an employee is going to be terminated, terminate those people who are new first. Last in, first out. Where does it come from? Can we not follow last in, first out? So all these come from case laws, right? These are just some examples. So you got to get yourself familiarized with the various laws, regulations, and case laws. So I would encourage all of you all, please read the case laws. The best way, join the forum. Every time there's a unique case, something interesting, we will share with you. Now, recently, the High Court made a ruling, right? Some of you all may know. Foreign workers, when they arrive in Malaysia, let's say today they arrive, their salary starts today, not when they start work. High Court says so, right? ILO says so. So you cannot say, oh, the foreign workers arrive today. No, they need to check in the hostel, relax, go for a medical test. Next week, baru mula kerja. The court says, today they arrive, today they pay. Not Arul says. The High Court says. That is what we call as a case law. So you got to read all this. Can an employee leave your WhatsApp group without permission? In the case of Maxis, one of the issues this employee had, she left the WhatsApp group. The court says you cannot leave unless without permission, right? So this is what you need to, this is why we need to read case laws. And not just reading it, read it and see whether you can improvise your practices. I would encourage all of you all, if you're going to hire somebody, in your clause, in your employment contract, put a clause, communication. By you accepting this contract, you must join the WhatsApp group. If you want to leave, you must get permission. This is how you protect the company. Same goes to overtime. Do you have scenario where, let's say operators join, during interview, boleh buat OT tak? Yes, tuan, boleh. Yes, sir, 3 bags full. But after he report to work, OT tak boleh. OT is voluntary, I tak nak buat OT. Now, why? Because in your contract, I believe many of you all, in your contract, you mentioned there, if you perform OT, you shall be paid as per the rates provided for in EA or SLO. Okay lah, it says, if you do, okay lah, I tak nak buat. Macam mana? I don't do. So your clause must be proper. You need to refine your clause. For example, this job requires you to perform OT from time to time. Failure to perform OT after accepting this contract, or is an offense, or it's a misconduct, right? But you all don't do that. You all copy cut paste clauses and just put there, if you perform OT, you shall be paid. Now, remember this, drafting employment contract, please don't use ChatGPT. Please don't copy cut paste from others. Please review it. Get somebody qualified to check your contract. Because if things go wrong there, the repercussion is much more greater. So please get a qualified person to vet your contract, whether all the elements are captured there, so that save your trouble in future. Don't ChatGPT them. ChatGPT can give you a draft, a base contract, a base draft, but you got to fine tune it, see whether it's complying to the law, see whether it's complying to the practices, so that tomorrow the company don't checkmate themselves. Performance review. Are you doing performance review? Whether there's an increment or not, you got to do a review. For those of you all, if you're not doing a review, if you look at the right-hand side, this is an Excel form. It's automated. Tak payah kira, takut tersalah kira, kurang kira, tak kira. The form, you cannot make mistake. It's a Pokayoki free. That means this form is designed for you not to fail. So you must assess performance. Because if you don't assess performance, how do you know he or she is providing the minimum required service that you want from them? So whether you give increment or a bonus or you don't give, performance must be measured. Now, when you promote somebody, can I ask all of you all this? Let me see whether you all are going to give me a yes. A majority part of your headache is your managers, your line managers. Yes or no? Majority part of your headache, or shall I say a big portion of your headache, comes from your line managers. Yes or no? Your people managers. Betul atau tak betul? Anyone? Yes. Why? Because we allowed the managers to Maharaja Leela. You allowed it. If an operator makes a mistake, you are ready to pounce on them. Show cause letter, warning letter. Technician make mistake, show cause letter, warning letter. Manager don't follow procedure. Manager, can you please send me the form tomorrow? Manager, can you? If a manager do not follow procedure, you got to give them a show cause letter. Operator don't follow, you give show cause letter. Manager don't follow, you do nothing. So they know already, you cannot touch me. So they Maharaja Leela. If you want to avoid your future headache, please promote the right person to be a manager. You got to assess their potential, assess their performance and aspiration. Not, oh, the guy is good. 6 months we put him on trial, okay, we promote him. That's what you've been doing for the longest time. You see somebody good, you put him on trial, and then he becomes a manager. He cannot perform his job, the team struggles. When the team struggles, they resign. When they resign, what you do? You do exit interview. But it's too late, no use. When you want to promote a manager, please thoroughly gauge their potentials, right? Performance. Look at 3-year data. AAA, BBB, good. Second, potential. Before you promote them, before you put them on trial, give them projects, give them a team, see how they manage a team, how they manage crisis, how they motivate a team, how they manage conflicts, how do they manage crisis, right? After 2-3 projects, okay, everything is good. Potential is there. Do they aspire to be one? Some of them, they don't want to take on higher job responsibility. But don't go and promote and push them. Never mind lah, go. I'm here. I will support you. So the guy said, okay lah, boss, since you keep asking me, okay lah, promote me lah. Tomorrow the manager goes, another new head comes, and the head is tough. He wants results. He's going to demand results. That manager cannot perform. He will become stressed up. What do you all do? Oh, I think we got to have mental health awareness day. Why? Because people are stressed up. But what is the actual reason? The actual reason is because he did not have the aspiration, but we promoted him. So you want to promote somebody, 3 indicators: potential, performance, aspirations. All these 3 must be a yes. Otherwise, please don't promote them. That is promotion, promoting right managers. You want to reduce your headache, manage the managers. It is not your job to manage people. Your job is to work with the managers. It is the manager's job to manage the people. But if you are managing people, your whole system is failing, right? If you think that we are working very hard, you are working in a system that is failing, or a failed system. HR is not supposed to manage people. You are supposed to work with the managers. The managers are supposed to manage the people, right? Now, did you hire the right person? Whenever you go for classes, you go for training, oh, I want to learn how to manage probationers. But why do you want to learn how to manage probationers when you can avoid poor probationer? So why do you want to ask? And I always tell this to companies, team building. I'm not a fan of team building. Every year we spend money on team building. We allocate 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 team building. Even the poor performer goes to team building, The A performer goes, B goes, okay, they work hard, they've delivered results. Okay, we bring the team building, okay, let them de-stress, have fun, whatever. But the C also goes. The poor performer, some of you bring them. They go there, have fun, banana boat, enjoy, barbecue there. Monday back to work, square one again. So what's the purpose of team building? Spending so much money. Instead of team building, please train your managers on how to do behavioral interview, how to do competency-based interview, how to write job description, how to do KPI setting, how to assess KPI. But we don't do all this. But we expect managers to know. HR, have you trained up yourself on how to do behavioral interview? You don't do that. Why? You're busy switching off lights, going for lunch, stamping contracts, issue offer letter, issue confirmation form. Focus on areas that can bring you value, bring the company value. Write proper job description. Not copycat paste from ChatGPT, job street, copycat paste, okay, JD. Write the job description. Ask your managers, okay, we know this job is hard to fill. Process engineer, not easy. What is your option B? If I cannot find this 3 months. So when I do interview, I will ask the manager, what is option B? Easy job, no problem, we can fill. Hard positions, tough positions, Ask them for option B, right? And then publish it, call 5 minutes, ask the manager, call 5 minutes, right? The 5 minutes tip, right? There's a 5 minutes technique. Go for interview. During the interview, if you invited John as a project engineer, ask John, can you describe one project that you've done? I want you to walk me through the project from the beginning until the end. Listen to him, right? How he started it, etc. And after after he has finished explaining, ask him, so John, what went on well? What did not go on well? How did you manage crisis? If you're given another opportunity, what will you do differently? How did you manage, conflict resolution, and so on? Keep asking, because we all know this. Candidates, when they come for interview, they are wearing a mask, right? They're wearing a mask. They will only tell you all the things that you want to hear. Your job as a recruiter, as a hiring manager, is to unmask them. That means take off their mask, keluarkan topeng dia, to know the real them. How do you do that? You don't call for interview. John, how long did you work in Sharp or Petronas? Or 5 years? Is there in the resume? What did you do? Is there in the resume? You got to ask them, things that they don't tell you. You can do that using the behavioral interview or competency-based interview. But you all do not know. You have never trained yourself up. You never train your managers. So your interview becomes an interview that is not real productive interview. But we spend money on team building. So if you want to minimize your headache during probation, improve your hiring process. Toyota says what? Build to last. Do it right the first time. If your first time process is good, your subsequent process becomes easier, becomes stable, becomes mature, becomes better. But if your initial process is screwed up, later part, you will have issues, right? So my advice to you all, please train yourself on behavioral interview. Please train your managers on behavioral interview, competency-based interview, how to write job description, how to write target setting for probationers, how to assess targets. If you don't train them, managers do not know. Nobody, they wake up, oh, I'm an expert in KPI design. No. They do screw up KPI, you assess KPI. A manager who's very relaxed, he may simply give out an A. So some of your A performers, they are not genuine A. Some of your C performers, they could be a B performer. Because the manager is so stringent, he gives a CCC, but another manager is so lenient, gives an A or a B. So the C guy, who's an actual B, after 3 years, he'll say, you know what, this company, no point I stay. Every year I get a C. He goes. To find a replacement, not easy. So you got to get your basics in order. Before we get our basics in order, don't berangan-angan, right? Some companies are all, the foundational things screwed up, but they all berangan-angan. Oh, we want to be employer of choice. We want to do. Now, how many of you all, you have got employee engagement day? You do engagement campaigns. Let me tell you this. Companies that do engagement campaigns are the biggest losers in town. Because why? You are already busy 8 hours a day. You got no time. Then you, on top of your busyness, you start doing engagement activities. 1 year excited, okay, let's do this, let's do that. Second year, third year, pancit. After you stop doing it. Why do you need engagement activities? Why do you need these campaigns? Companies that have failing systems, you don't do your proper KPI. You're not looking at career pathing. You do not do salary reviews. You do not do learning and development. All this not done. Employee becomes unhappy. They become demotivated. After a while, they go. You do a survey, they'll say, I'm not happy. Because why? 5 years, I'm in the same job grade. Nobody's looking at my career progression. No promotion, no opportunities, no learning. Salary pun, cekudut you bagi saya increment. What for? I go. Not happy. What do you all do? Not happy, you do engagement day. Let's have a nice cozy corner. Let's create a pantry. Let's buy this. Let's have a t-shirt day. Let's have slogans. All this can only work for a while. Engagement activities is like a Panadol treatment. The guy has got fever. Instead of you resolving his fever, you give Panadol. Okay, for a while the thing subsides. For a while people get excited. Issues crop up again. What do? Another engagement. Same goes to mental health wellness. Companies, they're so proud of, we have got mental wellness day. But why do people have mental health issues? unrealistic job design, unrealistic target setting, managers who are screwed up, managers do not know how to inspire, managers do not know how to use the right words, how to motivate, how to get the best out of the employee, how to care for them, how to protect them. You don't give resources to them, right? People get stressed up. And what do? When people are stressed up, we invite people to come and talk about mental health wellness. You know, if you guys think by having some speaker to come, by just listening, wow, my mental health has disappeared. It doesn't disappear by listening to the biggest guru in the world. Or let's buy stress ball. Let's have a t-shirt day. Let's give an apple a day. Come on. Why are we bullshitting ourselves? Why people are stressed up? Because your fundamentals are weak. Why do companies have engagement day? Because their fundamentals are weak. Are you trying to tell me that if you don't have team building, your employees will resign? No. People resign. Why? Because they don't see long-term value being in your company. When I come for interview, I ask for 5,000, you pay me 5,000. Okay, I accept the job. But after 3-4 years, my performance is very good. My salary is still the same, or maybe increment is very low. Career progression tada. I will go. And what do we do? Engagement day. To me, that's a Panadol treatment. That's why you guys are very busy. So because of engagement day, we need to do more activities. Engagement day, mental health awareness day, etc. We start to cut corners. Some of the core processes we chincai do. We don't do. We do it next time lah. But we focus on icing on the cake. Probation management. So if you've done your hiring right, no issues here. But when you don't hire them right, this is where the issues happen. So they report to work, you provide them with JD, not the same JD during interview, not interview one JD, after hiring is another JD. Now, if any managers do that, please give them a show cause letter. Because why? How can the JD change? You want passive candidate. You want a candidate that, passive, passive means people don't simply run around. They select the company, etc. Kenapa JD tak sama? Interview JD lain, now JD lain. They start to distrust the company. In a short span of 2 months, the JD is not the same. How come? Because when the manager gives you the JD for hiring, he just copy, cut, paste. Chat GPT. When report to work, he has cleaned up the JD. So to me, it's unfair to the candidate. If any managers do that, please give them a show cause letter. If you don't want to give show cause letter, you send an email to him, copy the manager, copy the MD. Dear Mr. John, why is your JD not the same? This creates distrust with candidates. It is so difficult to hire good candidates. Give him action. But you all dare not touch the managers. That's why managers bermaharaja lela. Now, you put them through probation. Now, those companies, if you're giving probation 6 months, if you think that you have won the Great World War III, you are the biggest fool again, biggest loser again. When you long probation is costly for company, because if the first month, the first week, the first 2 weeks, the behavioral issues, you got to keep him for 6 months because you insist on 6 months. First month cannot, second month cannot. Can you terminate? You can't. Third month you pay, fourth month you pay, fifth month you pay, 6 months you pay, and then you say, Alamak, I think let's give him another 3 months. You pay another 3 months, you terminate him, he goes to IR, you may pay another 2-3 months there. Why are you paying so much money? Are you Jabatan Kebajikan Rakyat? So my question to all of you all is this. Probation 6 months, you are wasting money. Keep your probation 3 months. 6 months probation, you guys are rich. So, okay lah, if you got a lot of money, do it. I would encourage all of you all, if your probation 6 months, don't do that. Revise your clause. Your probation is 3 months. The company may extend if needed. So if the guy is no good, extend him. If the guy is good, confirm him. But because you insist that 6 months, the first month cannot, second month cannot, you're going to waste money in the third month, the fourth month, the fifth month, 6 months chasing him, MC here, MC there, etc. Wasting your time, wasting his time, wasting the manager's time. What for? Keep it short. If 3 months good, confirm him. No good, terminate him. So now, you cannot demote a probationer. Remember this. The law says, in the case of Ng Tak Fei, it's a court of appeal case. It says that demotion is not possible, or you cannot demote somebody to a position they never held before. So if you hire them as a manager, you could remove him because he was never exec. So some of you demote them. That is a wrong approach. So now, end of 3 months, targets not met. Why not met? Efficiency issue, competency issue, aptitude issue, attitude, terminate. Targets met, no issues with efficiency, competency is good, aptitude is good, attitude is good, confirm him. Target not met. The top scenario, the orange box, target not met. Why? No issues with efficiency, competency is good, attitude is good, aptitude is good. That means, you know what? There are some, factors beyond the employee's control. So when you extend probation, please don't extend probation blindly. Or behavioral issue, extend probation. 3 months, manager, mana document? Or document tada? Okay, extend probation to build document. You guys are what? Bill Gates or what? You got a lot of money, is it? Extend probation to build documentation. Managers don't do documentation. Show cause letter to them because they are putting the company at risk. But you never touch them. You dare not touch them. So they keep doing what they're doing. And then you have the headache. If managers don't follow procedure, what does your company policy says? Anybody don't follow procedure is a misconduct. Show cause letter. Warning letter, follow up with warning letter. But we don't do anything. So extension of probation, do it only selectively. I have got a form. You can go to the forum. There's a form. If a manager wants to extend probation, but you feel it's not safe, fill up the form, goes to MD. Let MD decide. Manager wants to confirm, but you say, no, it's very unsafe to confirm him. He got a lot of attitude issue, attendance issue. How can he confirm? Never mind. Fill up the form. Let MD decide. Now, when you put in this process, managers cannot play a fool anymore. Right? Sometimes managers may also have this attitude. Yeah, it's okay, what? Never mind lah. Confirm him lah. Later got issues, never mind, got PIP, what? When you terminate a probationer, wrongful termination, maximum 12 months pay if you will lose the case. Confirm staff, maximum 24. So it's cheaper to terminate a probationer than terminating a confirmed staff. So do not let a bad product slip through this stage, right? Now, of course, I'm not going to explain all the technicalities and the scientific approach behind it, but what I'm going to say, just one keyword, extension of probation should be done for selective and deserving cases only, right? Now, in the case of Samshuddin, the court says that a probationer's efficiency, competency, aptitude can be a basis, right? And the probationer enjoys the same rights. So you cannot just terminate a probation just because probationer terminate. No, the law says they enjoy the same rights. If you're given him 6 months, you wait for the 6 months to expire before you terminate him. You cannot just suka-suka when you feel like terminate. You can't do that. And this is make your life easy. 1 review form every month. 3 months, 3 review form. So this review form is available in the forum. No need to give 1 letter, another form, no need. All in one. The reminder, the warning, everything is built in. Every month, 1 form. If the manager fill up the form first month, everything okay, masuk P file. Manager send a form, they said not meeting expectation. Hey, John, I got your form from, your staff not working, not doing well. Okay, you know what? I'm going to work with you to manage him. You turun padang immediately. Not wait for 3 months. John, what happened to your employee? Oh, sorry lah. Come. Too late. HR is sleeping on the job. So 1 month, 1 review form. 3 months, 3 review form. Decide yes or no. First month no, second month no, third month no, because all the form has it. The review did not meet or meet, warning 1, warning 2, warning 3, sign. Enough, cukup. Right? This form can be downloaded from the forum. Now, these are all the various forms and letters with regards to PIP, probation, confirmation. If you want samples, all this can be downloaded. Click the link to the forum and download all this. It's free. Download it, modify it to your needs. Policies, forms, review letters, target setting, everything is there. Now, flexi work. The law says an employee can apply. You cannot say, we don't want to give. The law says employee can apply. Section 60P, Q for EA and Sabah Sarawak, same. So it's the same across Sabah Sarawak Peninsula. An employee can apply for flexi work. Your job, when they apply, your job is to say yes or no within 60 days. If you're going to reject, you must let them know why you rejected. So the law says so. So you cannot say employee cannot apply. Employee can apply. Your job is to say yes or no. So have you designed your flexi work? Have you set up your policy? Right? All this has got to be done. Let me tell all of you all this today. Those of you all, if you are giving some kind of flexi, good, well done. But those of you all who are so adamant, so stubborn, you are stubborn, maybe your bosses are stubborn. No, we cannot give, etc. You are the biggest fool in town, because when you don't give, another company gives, they go. Who do want flexibility? I'm sure all of you want flexibility. So why you can have flexibility, but others cannot? So my advice to companies today, the blue collar, for example, earning 2,000-3,000 ringgit. Why should I come and work for you guys? 5 days work, 6 days work a week, 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day for some 3,000 ringgit, 3,500 maybe, or 2,700. What for I work for you so hard? If I drive Grab, if I do Food Panda or Lala Move, for the same amount of time, duration, I can earn more there. Tak payah masuk production kena maki hamun with supervisors. So these are the challenges today. Recruiting blue collar has become harder. It's going to become even more harder. Recruiting execs also not easy. So recruiting people has become a challenge. It's becoming more challenging. Retaining people is a challenge. It's becoming more challenging. So if you want to be stuck up, if companies want to be stuck up with their 1945 practice, you will end up not able to hire, or you end up losing your good employees. So it's good to offer some kind of flexi. A and B. C and D, you don't want to give them, it's okay. ISO will not give C and D performance flexi. If they're high performers, they have the right discipline, right aptitude, right attitude, I'm okay. I know they will work at home. But if the employee is a poor performer, if the office cannot work, you think they can work at home? So, but do not let go of your A and B for performers. Don't give them an excuse to go. Don't give them the opportunity to resign. So there are many types of flexi work. I've done a webinar on this as well, a 2-hour webinar on flexi work. I'll just run through very briefly. There are many types of flexi work. I will not run through the details, but I just want to cover on flexi hours. So flexi hours, some companies do apply. You come in early, you go back early, right? Your standard hours 9 to 6. But if you come in as early as 7:30 or maybe as late as 9:30, you can go back as early as 4:30 or as early as 6:30. So this is called flexi hours. Then you have a lunch window. Let's say between 12 to 2, you go for 1 hour. Then you have your core hours in the morning, core hours in the afternoon, right? This is a flexi hour approach, which is useful. Now, then when you implement flexi work, you must have a policy. I'm sure many of you have policies, but is your policies robust enough? Did you set up boundary guideline? Did you set up expiry? So when somebody applies for long-term benefits, long-term flexi work, long-term work from home, to me, don't give 1 month, 1 month, 1 month. There was a case recently. Company gave 6 months work from home. The first week itself not replying emails. How? You already give the approval. So to me, you give them 1 month. Okay, yes, I know you have some issues. You want to work from home. I'll give you 1 month. After 1 month, you apply again. If 1 month good, I give you. No good, you come back to work. Come back work from home. Second is set boundary guideline. If you allow employees to apply whatever approach, HR will have to do PhD research. Every time you get application with some weird arrangement, you got to go and see whether cannot. Don't do that. Don't get stuck in that. So what you do, you design your flexi work. You set the boundary guideline. Anybody want to apply, you apply within the boundary. And who should approve? Who should approve your flexi work? Manager or HR? Not manager. Because if a manager approve flexi, sampai HR, you say, hey, this kind of arrangement, a payroll cannot capture one, But too bad, manager already approved. The safer method is manager support, don't support. Reach HR, you review once more, everything's okay, chop sign, start tomorrow. Manager support, HR approve. So please download a very comprehensive FWA policy in the forum, and There's also a comprehensive form that I've captured. All these things I've mentioned is in the form. There's a policy and a form in the forum. Please go and download it. See whether it's good. You can modify it. Go ahead and use it. Now, PIP. It is very important to assess performance. Why? If the person is not performing and you still keep them, they're going to drain out your resources. Some of your company may have 500 employees. My question is whether you got 500, 300, 700. Do you really need 700? Do you really need 500? Do you really need 1,000? Some companies, they keep on hiring and hiring because the current staff cannot get the work done. They are there 8 hours a day, but are they working 8 hours? That's why you got to assess KPI, performance. So once your annual review is done, those people that meet, let's say A, B, C, D, A means exceed, B means meet, C is partial or average, D is poor. So those people A and B, good, you reward them, recognize them. But those people who fail to meet the expected minimum, the D performer, go to PIP. Right? After PIP, if they perform well, good. They cannot perform, you either demote them or terminate them. I will encourage termination. Don't demote them. They're going to be unhappy. They stay for a while, look for a job, they go. You are going to pay this. So to me, no good. Your documentation is order, terminate them. Now, what about those people in the yellow box, yellow circle? The C performers. Right? 2 years ago, C. Last year, C. This year, C. C. What do you want to see? And these are the guys that is a time bomb. They do minimum. When it comes to team building, they go enjoy, have fun, come back, do minimum. But the A and B works very hard. So my advice to all of y'all is to, update your HR policy, talk to your management. First year C, no problem. Kita faham. You're new. You need to learn the process, the culture, the system, the tools. Okay. You're recently promoted. Okay. But second year C, tak boleh diterima. So any employee who gets C 2 years in a row goes to PIP. You guys give them increment, give them bonus, and they become very comfortable. Extra annual leave because there's long-serving annual leave high, insurance, you go for team building, lucky draw, everything. So what fun to work hard? Tak payah kerja rajin. Everything I enjoy, whatever you enjoy, I enjoy. So what fun to work hard? Medical benefits I get, extra annual leave I get, public holiday I get, team building I go, right? So they have become so comfortable. That's where your headache is. But you all are okay. Now, design your PIP. This is just a simple flow, simple design. After your annual review, anybody who get a C 2 years in a row or a D performer for the first time, you give them a PIP letter. Now, who should start this process? Not managers. HR should initiate. Managers to follow up. If you ask manager to start, you can wait till the cows come home. Some managers will not do it. And you cannot have a situation, some managers do, some managers don't. Firm up your policy, get your management endorse it, get everybody to comply. HR issues the letter. Manager work on target setting. Start your first phase. Good, continue second phase. Continue third phase. Finally demote them or terminate them. So if you don't do a proper PIP, you have imbalances in a company. Can I say this? 70% of your headache comes from your C and D performers. Yes or no? 70% of your headache comes from your C and D performers. The A and B, the issues are very minimal from them. But the C and D gives you the most headache. Yes or no? Anyone? The C and D gives you the most headache. Yes or no? Exactly. The C and D performers gives you the biggest headache. But you encourage them. You make them stay. You reward them. You give them bonus, half month, increment 1-2%. You bring them for team building. You give them extra annual leave. You give them medical benefits. You pay for the medical costs. But they give you headache. In other words, right, you create the headache, you reward the headache, you ask for the headache by keeping them. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, 2 years in a row C, last year C, this year C, PIP. D, automatically PIP for sure. You make PIP as a death chamber, an area that nobody want to go, because they know the moment I enter PIP, I know if I don't do well, I'm out. So you create a situation where nobody wants to go to PIP. You make it fear. Now, if you all want to become rich, you all can become rich. You sell drugs, you can become rich. But none of you all want to sell drugs. Why? Because when you sell drugs, if you're caught, penalty. I mean, you'll death sentence, lifetime. So because you fear, you dare not do it. So create that fear in your employees. So that, just imagine, all your employees are A and B. No D, C, and no C, no D. Wow, this is really a breakthrough. Why? Because no headache, minimum people issues. Everybody's working hard. Nobody's cheating. Nobody coming late. Extended break. They come to work. They work. They go home. Because why? They want to maintain A and B performance. So, but what you guys have been doing, you create the C guys. You reward them. You take good care of them. Now, there are 6 salient points in managing PIP. What are they? Number 1, clear communication. Give them sufficient time. Don't rush. The courts always tells us this. Take a slower approach when you terminate an employee. Give them time. Give them sufficient help. Whatever guidance, help, give it to them. Remind them. Warn them. Keep proper documentation. And last but not least, the PIP must be genuine. No foul play. You don't put somebody in PIP just to get them out. So if these 6 points are met, I'm quite sure your PIP is a good, strong PIP. So, the court always tells us this. In this case, an employer should be very slow. Means what? Don't rush. Give them time. Tell them. Warn them. Give them opportunity to improve. If you have done all of this, he may have to go. Right? Follow fair procedure. If you have done all of this, the industrial court says that the industrial court will not interfere in your decision. If you have done all of this. And in another case, the company was very slow. The company was slower. They didn't rush the process. They told the employee what is his weaknesses, gave him time to improve. The reports was discussed. He agreed with the observations. He was given guidance and support. They didn't have ABCD, which is not a big deal. You can have just, okay, done, not done, meet, not meet, right? And if you've done all of this, the court says that the company is entitled to dismiss him. Got it? So these are the 6 salient points. So if these points are met, right? If these points are met, your case would be a good case. So take note of it. And do you have a job grading? Do you publicize it? Some of you all don't share it out. If salary you don't share, the salary band you don't share, okay, fine, that's okay. This is the old one. I didn't update it. If you don't share, it's okay. But you should be sharing on the career progression, even if it's an operator, because you want people to stay. They come in after 1 to 3 months, they go. Then you cry. You do exit interview. You got to do something different. You got to do something unique. Even if it's an operator, during your induction, after you bombard them with all your health and safety, this, etc., please also tell them, ladies and gentlemen, this is our company's career pathway. Today you're an operator. There's opportunity for you to move on to be a senior operator, clerk, right? What can you do? What can you upskill? If your performance is good, company can also upskill you for you. We can send you for, some part-time diploma, whatever, etc. Right? If you're an engineer, what are the levels? So people need to look forward to something that they can believe in, something they can look forward to, something they can work on. But if you don't tell them, if you don't want to share, you want to keep it hush as though like this is some big time, World Bank secret, then we're not going to change our game. So you got to have a grading structure, share it with them. If you want to hide the pay, that's up to you. But do you know there are companies out there, even the pay structure, they publicize it. So there's nothing big. So what if your competitor knows that, oh, this company here, managers, they pay 5,000, 8,000. So what if it's competitive, why you worry? Why if it's competitive, nothing to be shy about. Now, when we talk about operators, it's so difficult to retain operators. But what do you do about it? If it's difficult to retain operators, what is your action plan? Hiring is difficult, retaining is difficult. You keep crying, you keep complaining, you keep asking around, which job board, where should I apply? Job 3 I cannot get, Indeed cannot, Mau Kerja, Rice Bowl, where, here, there, My Future Jobs. Now, job portals can only help you to certain extent. What else? What are your other strategy? No strategy. So then how to retain? One, what you can also do, I'm not saying that this is going to change the whole game, but I would encourage you all to do a mid-month salary, pay them mid-month, right? By the 15th, they already earn their basic salary, pay to them, right? So that they have some money to survive. End of the month, you pay the balance of overtime. You pay the OT plus the basic balance of the basic salary. Because operators, those people earning 2,000-3,000 ringgit, they are on kais pagi makan pagi, hand to mouth. Sometimes when they take leave, right, they say, boss, hari ni saya sakit. Some of them know. Talk to them. They've no, by the middle of the month, right, no money left. Cannot come to work, cannot buy powder milk for the kid. So what do? They take MC. Because you don't give annual leave, right? They take MC. You pay MC costs. And then they go and do Grab for one day. They earn 200-300. Okay, now I got money, right? I come back to work tomorrow. Many of them are doing that. You don't know. They will tell you MC. Right? So you got to work out. See, no point grumbling, complaining. You know what? It's so difficult to hire, so difficult to retain. How, boss, how this, that. You got to do something that you've never done before. Whatever methods you're doing today has given you the results you're seeing today. You want bigger results, better results, you got to do something else. By the way, for those of you, if you don't know, you cannot limit consultation costs. Right? EA, SLO says what? An employee shall be examined. So when they go to clinic, when the doctor bills them 60, 70 ringgit, there are two elements: consultation, medication. Medication, you can choose not to pay. But the consultation, or we call it examination, you must pay. You cannot put a limit. You cannot say your annual limit 300. No, you got to pay them. Right? So please go and check Section 60F. Or Sarawak, check out the ordinance. Now, VSS, MSS, and retrenchment. I use the word mandatory retrenchment because when it comes to retrenchment, you don't need to ask them, do you want to accept? If I'm going to retrench you, you got to go. VSS is voluntary. MSS is mutual. I always tell this to many HR practitioners. The fastest way, the safest way, the cheapest way to remove an employee is MSS. Fastest way, cheapest way, safest way, MSS. So VSS, almost similar to MSS. VSS, you make a general offer to anyone. Package is all announced, 1 month per year of service. Anybody wants, you accept, you apply. If I approve your application, you can take the money and go. That is not forced resignation. No? MSS, normally we bincang one-to-one, certain cases, selective cases, right? It's mutual, right? Okay, you know what, John, I don't need you anymore. We got no plans for you. We don't mind giving out a package. Let us know what you want. He say, I want 5 months. Okay, I say, can I give you 4? Ding dong, ding dong. Okay lah, we agree to 4.5. That's called mutual, right? When it comes to retrenchment, the whole company closed down. The whole department closed down. The job has become redundant. You can choose to offer minimum 10, minimum 15, minimum 20. You can give more. But in VSS and MSS, if you're going to offer 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, I can tell you it is not sweet enough. Employees probably will not take it up. So the MSS and VSS has got to be sweeter than the 10, 15, 20 days. You can give 10, 15, 20, you can offer, very few will take it. Majority will ask for at least 1 month. So that is VSS, MSS, and retrenchment. But don't do like what Harvinder says, SSS, suka-suka sack. No such thing. It's either VSS, MSS, or retrenchment. Okay, I'm going to skip this. This table is available in the forum. Haji Hussein is also listening in. Many of these write-ups, Haji Hussein and myself have done this up. Make your life easy for you so that you don't need to read EA, SLO, Bailey here, Bailey there, etc. We have studied all this, crunch all the data, crunch all the facts, and put into a simple table that you can rely on. Otherwise, you don't read. Many don't read. When they read, they cannot understand. Then they do not know what to do. Then they disturb Labour Department, keep calling Labour Department, keep calling here, call there, ask here, WhatsApp group, Facebook group, here, there, etc. Some people get wrong idea, wrong input, then apply wrong steps, and disaster happens. So I would encourage all of y'all, please, please, please read the documents in the forum, participate in the discussion, download whatever is shared, analyze it, study it, do a gap analysis between what is shared, what you have, etc., and make the best use of it. Now, remember I said just now, 70% of your issues are created by C&D. But you got issues, people issues, system issue, culture issue, process issue. Who created them? Employee or company? Majority of issues that you have today is created by you. Don't blame the employees. Let's say in a house, right, at a home, if the kid becomes rebellious, if the kid becomes, ruly, that means, liar, if the kid becomes, stubborn, no respect, who is to be blamed? The father, mother, right? Don't blame the school. Don't blame the government. Don't blame the neighbor. The biggest responsibility goes to the father and mother. If an employee becomes difficult, who is to be blamed? The company. If I come to a company, do I see things in orderly manner? 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, everybody is working. Everybody goes for lunch 1 hour, no extended break. Everybody gets the job done, no gossiping, chit-chatting here, there, checking on what's next holiday, when is the cheapest ticket, etc. Managers are proper. Managers know how to manage people. Managers know how to inspire people. Managers are thorough. Managers don't show biasness. They don't discriminate, right? They know how to handle issues. They know how to engage in difficult conversation because you've trained them up. Now, if all this happens, you will have very minimum people issues. So I would say this, majority of the issues that you have today is created by the company. Personal issues, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, right? That one is personal issues. Don't worry about it. Focus on what is created by the company. Now, those of y'all, if you have driven into Singapore, right? You drive. Malaysia, we are kings. Potong here, potong there, red light, beat, emergency lane. The moment we enter Singapore, we're very careful. Because why? The culture of discipline in Singapore is so stringent that people automatically change their behavior. But when I come to your company, I will see wild, wild west. People coming in on their own sweet time, gossiping here, chit-chatting here. I find ways, I can do this, I can do that. So, do you have a culture of discipline? Why this happens? Because the company lacks the culture of discipline. That's why you got all these issues. But if you have culture of discipline, no issues. So please establish your culture of discipline. Remove your 70% headache. You will find that the company can move faster. Today, why company cannot progress? Lots of baggages. By who? By all these C&D employees. Okay, let me share with you, I won't be able to run through all, but let me share with you a couple of HR, I call it breakthrough. Why breakthrough? Something that you have never heard before, right? Now you're going to say, aha, wow, why didn't think of it? So for the longest time, what we have been doing, we just scratch the surface. Kikis, permukaan sahaja. Oh, God, how to retain people? Okay lah, why not we do this, we do that, etc. Kikis, just scratch the surface. There's no breakthrough. Maybe some of you are doing fantastic, right? Share with us what you do, right? Good results, share with us. But what about the others? So let me share this with you. Now listen carefully. If I'm going to hire you, right, to be if I'm going to say that, okay, look here, John, your job is to produce 3,000 pieces of this every month. You produce 3,000, I pay you 3,000. So what is the minimum? Can somebody tell me what is the minimum KPI? What is the minimum? Anybody? What is the minimum that he must produce every month as per contract? Anybody? What is the minimum? Anyone? No one? Got what is the minimum? 3,000. So remember this, the minimum is a B. But why are you expecting a C? Why do you give C performance increment? Why do you give C performance bonus? Why do you give them medical benefits? Why do you give them extra annual leave? Why do you take them for team building? Because the guy can't give you the minimum. You are being cheated, you are being fooled, but you still take care of them. Why? Are you Jabatan Kebajikan Rakyat? Are you welfare department? No, you are running a business. The minimum is a B. But what you have done, you have created, you have institutionalized C as a minimum. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the minimum is a B, not a C. You created this issue. That's why you got C performers today who gives you headache because you created them. You groomed them. I would encourage all of you all, starting now, please reset your approach. B is a minimum. Not C, not D. A, fantastic. Not C, not D. So what you do today, when you give C increment, even though it's even though 2%, or you give them bonus, even though half month, whenever you reward a C, you are doing injustice to the A and B. The A and B deserves a higher increment. So just imagine, if you're giving 2% increment to a C, if I remove this from them, I give 1% extra to A, I give 1% extra to B, the A will be much more happier. They deserve it. The B will be happier. He deserves it. Why should a C get extra? Hey, guys, if you are a C performer, you better be happy. I'm already paying you 3,000 ringgit. I'm not even reducing your salary. But you cannot expect extra increment from me. Why should I give it to you? Oh, inflation. He don't care about the company. Why you care about him? The guy don't care about the company. He don't care whether the company is on fire, but you care for him. So who's the fool here? Minimum is a B. First year C, because you're newly promoted, no problem. We understand. Second year cannot be a C. If C and C, PIP. Start doing that. The C and D gives you headache, you are keeping them. The A and B give you minimum headache. So you give increment to C. You give increment to C, the A and B is being deprived of higher increment, higher bonus. If A, you give bonus 3 months, B, give 2 months, C, you give, let's say, half month. That half month, you give 0.25 to A, you give 0.25 to B, the A will say that, I got higher increment, higher bonus. I deserve it. Not the C. So that's mistake number 1 that you guys are doing, right? So that's mistake number 1. So what I would encourage you all, stop rewarding the C and D. Give it to the A and B. Annual leave, I know it's not going to be easy to change. Some companies, what they do, they give, if you work for more than 5 years or 8 years, you get 20 days. Now the C performer also enjoys 20 days. Why should a C performer enjoy 20 days? If you have a chance to review your policy, the minimum, as I suggested, is 12 days, 12, 14, 16. That's it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you get an A for 2025, you will get 5 days extra annual leave 2026. If you're a B performer, you get 3 days for next year. For 2027, I will see your review for 2026. So your annual leave, the extra annual leave, is given based on performance. So the A will feel more appreciated. Wow, I get extra annual leave, extra bonus, extra increment. No need to ask the boss's money, all this. Right? The C and D, I'm so sorry, the 16 days as per contract, 16 days. You don't deserve extra annual leave. What for? Right? Now, medical leave. okay, I don't have time, so I won't be able to ask you a question and ask you to answer. When A and B go on medical leave, you don't suspect anything. But when C and D go medical leave, you'll be asking, wondering, betul kah medical leave? So to me, MCE, right, I would say like this, ladies and gentlemen, A performer next year, the first 5 days, I don't need MC from you. Next 5 days, I don't need. Now, they will not abuse it. I'm sure many of y'all, you're the good ones. How many days MC you guys take? Maybe 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days a year. Not 15, 20 days, right? Because you go when you're really sick. But sometimes when you're sick, you don't need to see a doctor. Just go take some Panadol, drink some hot soup. You're okay, rest for a while, you're done. So A performer, I trust you guys. First 5 days, no need MC. But today you insist on MC, they go to clinic, they get MC, 60 days, 60 ringgit times 5, 300 ringgit. 30 people, 15,000 ringgit. Sorry, or whatever, 9,000 ringgit. Why waste the money? Why are you making the doctors rich? B performer, 3 days, no need MC. I trust you guys. After 3 days, I need MC. But the first 3 days, no need MC. C and D, I'm so sorry. Please give me MC. I don't trust you guys. I need MC. Because the C and D are the one who manipulates. What about training budget? Instead of you spending money on team building, right? If any training provider is listening, they'll be very angry with me. But you send team building, you spend 100,000 ringgit, 50,000 ringgit. Come on. Can you change behavior in 2 days? Can you change character in 2 days? I told one of the CEO before, they call me up, Arul, I want to have team building. They want to check on the outline. What is this? What is that? I say, come on. You know what? If you can't change behavior for 10 years, last 15 years, you can't change behavior, you expect me to do in 2 days? 2 days can change behavior? Wow. Like that, let's send everybody for team building. 2 days, behavior change. But has behavior changed? No. You make the hotel rich. You make the training provider rich. I'm a training provider as well. You make training provider rich. Instead of doing that, right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a performer, the company is going to allocate 5,000 ringgit or whatever you decide, 3,000 ringgit, 5,000 ringgit, for you to go and do any training of your choice. You want to go to Penang, KL, go and do training. We won't ask you. Any other training mandatory for this one? That's a separate story. This is a reward for your performance last year. 5,000 ringgit. B performer 3,000. C and D, sorry. Any mandatory training, we will send you, but no extra trainings. So the A will feel valued. Hey, can I go and do certification? Go and do it. Right? Insurance. Why you want to give insurance, to C and D? A and B, yes. Because you give your insurance to C and D, just imagine if you don't give C and D, right? You take the premium, you give it to the A and B, they can get higher premium, they can cover their kids. Maybe instead of small coverage, they can get bigger coverage. Why should C and D deserve insurance? First year you give okay. Second year based on performance. So the A will feel valued because why? I can get higher increment, higher insurance, etc. And what else can you do? You can also tell your A performers, ladies and gentlemen, if you have 5 year, right? If you get minimum 3A to B, company will give you 1 month paid sabbatical leave. You want to go for Hajj, you want to go for Umrah, you want to go for Japan trip, you want to go sightseeing in China, go ahead. B performer, 2 weeks paid leave. Company pay. They've earned the money for you. C and D, sorry lah. You're annually 14 days, right? You do within the 14 days. So now your A and B will feel like, wow, I get all of this. People start talking about the company. You can recruit people without even asking people to join you. Tomorrow, let's say Adlin, he tell his friend, hey guys, I'm going to Japan for 1 month. Wow, who's going to pay? No lah, my company pay. Why? Well, I'm an A performer, my company gives. So now your A performer and your B performer, they have no reason to leave you. If another company calls them up, they're going to ask, what do you give A performer? Do you give this? Do you give this? Do you give this? No, I'd rather stay. So you're giving lesser reasons, lesser excuse for your A and B to leave you. It's so hard to recruit, right? Then you retain your A and B. Now, when you do this right, what is going to happen to C and D? Majority will start to improve because they don't want to lose out. They will start to improve. Some of them will become a B performer. Some will become A. Let me tell you this. The C and D, right? It is not that they don't want to. It is not they can't. Bukan dia tak boleh. They just tak nak. So this is how you change mindsets. But after doing it, if they still cannot, get them out. So just imagine if all your employees are A and B. No C's, no D's. Maybe very minimum. A big chunk of your company headache disappears. That's a strategy. So you want to scratch the surface, or do you want to go deeper into resolving your headaches, right? So this is part of the breakthrough strategy. There are many, many more, but I'm just going to stop here because we don't have enough time. Now, the other strategy I want to share with you is this. Now, you take 1 week, disciplinary issue, right? If an employee didn't come to work, you call them, issue show cause letter, give them some time, and then finally give another letter. The process takes 1 week. Sometimes some of you will take 2 weeks, 5 days. But do you know that it can be done in 20 minutes? Why you take 1 week when we can do it in 20 minutes? So go to the forum, download a copy of this form. It is called disciplinary management form. Use this form, get it done in 20 minutes. But if you like to waste time, take your, waste time and, issue one letter, 3 days, etc., then you're not going to be effective. It is easy to work hard. So we just work hard, issue letter, wait. That's working hard. But work smart. When you work smart, you become much more successful. When you work hard, but you don't work smart, achievement is minimum. If you work smart and not so hard, you can do better. But imagine you work smart and you work hard. And I personally, over my career, I work smart and I work hard. You want to grow fast, work smart and work hard. Okay, so I'm done with the slides. So now this is what we cover in the masterclass and much, much more. So we have got, an upcoming class in, this is outdated. There's a upcoming class in in Penang and PJ in December. So for those of you all, if you're interested, please sign up. And it's a 2 days intensive. Please don't send your fresh graduates, right? Because I'll be wasting their time, they'll be wasting my time. Only send people who are ready, who has got the basics. Otherwise, I can tell you, you are wasting your time, you're wasting your money. So send only those people who understand the basics, because the class is very comprehensive, it's power-packed, it's, lots of things we discuss. Medical process is another thing I didn't cover here today. So if you're interested, email sophie@malaysiahrforum.com. The class, in the December class, because year-end class is always fully packed, if you want to capture the December class, please sign up ASAP, because it is in another 2 or 3 weeks left. So I think Penang class, there's 1 or 2 seats left. Otherwise, it's closed. PJ, we have a few more seats. Now, we also have these human resource certification programs. This is separate from Masterclass. If you want to be a payroll professional, we've got a certified payroll professional class, 3 modules. You learn about payroll tax. I can't recall what is the other module. If you want to be a com and ben specialist, we've got com and ben class, how to do job grading, salary structure, total rewards management. If you want to be a certified human resource analyst or competency manager, certified training needs assessor. So these are the 10 certification programs that we have. And we also have this for Bumi Putra professionals. Funding is by Yayasan Peneraju. So those of you all, if you want to sign up for this, is fully funded by Yayasan Peneraju. Of course, there's some conditions to it. You've got to pass the exam and so on. So those of you all, if you're interested, but again, this for Bumi. For those non-Bumi, if you ask me why, well, this by Yayasan Peneraju. We are hoping to get another funding for non-Bumis next year, but again, that depends on whether it materializes. So if you're interested, you can sign up for this. So these slides will be shared in the forum. Go to the forum to download it. I will not put the masterclass, the breakthrough slides. That one is a bit confidential, so I will not put that in. Come to the masterclass. I'll cover that in detail. Okay, so now it is 5 o'clock. There's tons of questions. I do not know whether I will do 5 o'clock. So Tengku Norizan, JB, please. Every time we want to do Johor, numbers are low. So sometimes I tell my team, mungkin orang-orang Johor terpelajar, tak payah nak ajar diorang sudah tahu semua. So we'll try, but Penang and PJ is coming up. Okay, So maybe I will not do the Q&A today because today I've added a few more slides in to cover as much as I could. So please please accept my apology. I will not be able to provide the go through the Q&A. But Muhammad Aziz, giving award considered discrimination? No. Just like you're giving higher increment for the A performer, lower increment for B performer, that is not discrimination, right? Or you give higher annually for the senior employees, those long serving, and lesser, that's not discrimination. If you say discrimination, then I can also say EA pun diskriminasi juga, because EA says that if you work 5 years, you get more days. You work less than 5 years, no. So rewards can be based on seniority. Rewards can be based on performance. But you cannot do this. For example, employee more than 20 years, your policy says annual leave is, more than 10 years, for example, more than 10 years, annual leave 20 days. But you got one employee more than 10 years, you only give him 16 days, but another guy gets 20 days. Now that's discrimination. So any rewards or benefits based on seniority, based on position, based on performance is not discrimination. So don't worry about it. Right? Remember this, 70% of your headache is caused by the C and D. You remove the C and D, your headache disappears. That's a strategy. And find ways how to reduce. For example, if you use the disciplinary management form, you're going to save many, many days in a year. Right? You are very busy. Why? Because we never find faster way, more effective way to resolve or to complete our processes. Okay, so I think that's all for now. I'm going to end the session. I'm so sorry that cannot cover the Q&A, but don't worry about it. If you have any pertinent question, please ask in Facebook. I will always reply. Haji Hussein also replies, and many other members who help you, who are very helpful, they will reply you. So if you have any burning issues or burning questions, please ask in Facebook. You will get your reply. Okay, so with that, thanks a lot. And those of you who are interested in a masterclass or SHRM, please write into Sophie or scan the QR code. So all this will be shared in the slides I'm going to share, but I will not share the breakthrough slides. That one, I have to keep it PNC. Sometimes some other consultants like to take some of my documents and put it into their materials. So kena jaga IP a bit. Okay, so thanks a lot for joining us today. I hope you have found the 2 hour as useful as it can be. I hope I've given you some idea at least of what you can do next year, what you can, how can you look at a different, strategy altogether, what are the areas you can do, what are the issues that you're having today, how we can resolve it, etc. I hope I did not waste your 2 hours. I hope you have gained something out of it. And if you want to know more, please come to the forum in Facebook. There's tons of resources and, support webinars and seminars that is there. Please do join us. And till then, thank you so much, and I hope to see you one fine day. Most conflicts at the workplace do not start with rebellion. It starts with confusion.
Approximately 280 Bangladeshi migrant workers in Malaysia are claiming over $694,000 in unpaid wages.
Between January and October, Malaysian authorities issued 4 to 5 million ringgit in fines for labour offences, with 1,654 investigations opened involving forced labour.
But all of it is avoidable when you understand the rules and there is clarity. In this masterclass, I'll share with you how to understand Malaysia's Employment Act and its Sabah and Sarawak counterparts, manage disciplinary issues legally and ethically, eliminate labor disputes before they escalate. We will dissect real case studies from wrongful dismissal to wage disputes, from disciplinary hearings to forced resignations. Sometimes people tell me this kind of class is useless. You can Google it or ask around. But ask yourself this, do you want to be firefighting when the damage is already done? Or do you want to live with peace of mind solving issues before they ever reach your desk? Because no matter what your life looks like now, it can be better.
Hi, I'm Arul, and this is my masterclass. Most conflicts at the workplace